Hi, folks. Please read the disclaimer. Welcome to the show. We have the Ask Weekend Investing round number 67 today. The ask from you remains that you must subscribe to the channel. In this series, we answer questions that we receive on X, on email, or directly through some other source, and we try to get all the answers across. You may be our investor, you may be our follower on any social media, or you may not follow us and just drop a question. We'll try to answer all. 960 queries have been answered across 66 rounds so far, and all these rounds are available. The links are there in the description, and you can go through each one of them on the weekend if you like. Let's take the first question for the day. Prithvi says, like there is rotation in sectors, is there a specific pattern in country-wise rotation in terms of performance? Noticed your weekly review video where India is comfortably on top on 5-year performance, but right at the bottom in short, medium term. In your experience across 30 years, have you noticed a similar country rotation? Yes. So there are funds that are more international or in their nature of exposure. So, for instance, an emerging market fund is going to look at maybe 10 or 12 countries and allocate uh, the investments according to the performance of each country. If it's a momentum fund, certainly they will invest more where the performance is good. Um, but we are pretty much looking at India markets only right here, and we also have a US market product. So, but we don't have a multi-country relative product. Does money flow uniformly across all countries in either developed or emerging markets? No, it doesn't do that. Uh, and the result of that is that US market is about 65 to 70% market cap of the world. We may be like a few percentage points. So money flow is very, very non-uniform, also because of many other reasons, geopolitical reasons, or liquidity reasons, or perhaps capital control reasons. So a company which may be of a similar growth pattern in Taiwan perhaps will have a very different valuation versus somebody in Philippines or somebody in India. So money does not flow uniformly at all in the markets. Patel says, how do you identify strong stocks in leading sectors? Is there a possibility that a strategy can contain stocks from only one sector, or is there a max weightage limit for one sector? Is there a possibility that there could be stocks picked from worst performing sectors also? So, since the sectoral index is not your leading filter, so it is certainly possible that, let's say metal sectors is doing really badly, but one stock is really doing well within the metal sector, and we'll certainly pick that if that comes in our uh, radar. Is there a possibility that strategy can contain stocks from one sector only? Uh, no, that is not a possibility. We do have some broad rules where we will not allow one sector to go beyond those rules, and that will depend on each strategy. How do we identify strong stocks? We look at their past performance, and that gives us the idea of what is doing well at any point of time. Naveen says, now that weekend investing is comfortable launching dynamic allocation product, can you share analysis of what would be performance of all cap gold evergreen if they would be dynamically allocated portfolios? So dynamic allocation, we have just done one strategy, and that is not a momentum strategy, but it's an asset allocation strategy. Um, all cap gold, we already have that product, so you can compare it versus all cap if you like. Evergreen is already there, but it's not a dynamically allocated portfolio. So we can come out with newer products, but we are unlikely to switch existing portfolios into dynamic strategies, because those who are already in it may or may not want a dynamic allocation, and hence that cannot be, the current strategies cannot be disturbed with that. If at all, we will add more strategies if the demand is there. Gunjan says, in momentum investing, positions are sold when the market trends downward. That's correct. How then does compounding operate within a momentum based strategy? Okay. So, two things that need to be separated in terms of discussion is, compounding does not mean that it has to be in the same stock, right? So, if my 20 stocks are going up and three stocks come down and I get rid of them and I add three new stocks, and that capital then goes up, and those stocks are doing well, my capital compounds, right? If I start at 100 and I go to 120, and this in this during this period of going from 100 to 120, I've had 17 stocks do well and three stocks not do well. Just giving an example. Then at 120, I am now with 17 old stocks and 3 new stocks, and that goes to 140. So my capital is compounding, but my the vehicles I've used for that journey may not stay with me. So I hope you are able to get the distinction between the two. Compounding has nothing to do with positions getting sold. A position getting sold is because that stock is weak and it needs to be replaced with something that is stronger, which is likely that the stronger stocks is going to do better in the coming times. That's the whole thesis behind momentum investing. Himanshu says, is it possible to create a small case where we incorporate all asset classes such as equity, commodity, ETF, bonds, and rank them as per relative strength? It is certainly possible, but the problem is that these instruments are not available. Commodity ETF is very specific in terms of metal. We can get a gold ETF, we can get a silver ETF also now, and even other general commodity ETFs are not available. Futures are available. Bonds, we can get an ETF like perhaps liquid, short-term liquid ETFs, but no variety there as well. And uh, technically, this is possible to do, and many people do it worldwide. Run something uh, based on ETFs, and the liquidity of those ETFs need to be very deep for significant money to run on them. Um, You could also look at some MSCI or Vanguard ETFs in the US and create such a strategy. That is certainly very much possible. We will certainly work on this and see if we can add more products to our US bouquet. Can weekend investing offer long short strategy as a small case? No, that is not possible because small case is a long only platform and on cash markets only. If we get an ETF which is an inverse ETF, so like in the US they have a concept of an inverse ETF where you can buy an ETF which is basically short the index. So there could be an inverse Nifty ETF where if Nifty goes down, that ETF goes up. If those kind of products get available, certainly we can incorporate those in our long strategy, and effectively it will become long short. But as of today, those kind of products are not available. Cycron says, when we do rebalance in MI Evergreen, do we need to bring down or up the gold weightage back to 25% each month or for every N months? Confused on this as rebalance would not include gold bees as an add or exit. I think this is uh, a problem that is happening because you may be manually rebalancing. The rebalance that will go through the platform will automatically reset your gold bees back to 25%. So my request would be that if you can follow the rebalance done through the platform, that will be more efficient. But if you like to do it outside the platform, you can manually reset it back to 25%. Srihari says, I have had around 10% of portfolio allocation to gold since last year, thanks to you, but around 60% of that are in ETFs. I would want to shift gradually towards physical gold in the next few years. In your opinion, what can be the strategy? So, strategy is very simple. You can sell your ETFs and buy physical gold. Um, if you want to time it in such a fashion that you you gain that transfer, maybe whenever gold is moving down, you sell your ETFs, and if that downtrend continues, you can buy a physical ETF after a couple of weeks, but that of course is always risky in terms of losing out on your position. Um, and in terms of buying physical gold, I mean, I buy MMTC physical gold through an associate company, and that perhaps is, for me at least, the best option available out there. What can be the ways to store physical gold? I mean, find some locker or some storage, or find some storage areas in your own house, um, or with your friends and family. I don't know. I mean, that answer needs to come from you within, where you would wish to store your physical gold. Some people also use the gold monetization scheme of the banks, so the gold can be pledged with the banks, and you will get some very small interest on it. That way, you don't have to store the physical gold. Sukrit says, from all the small case products, who doesn't know which momentum product is suitable for him, which one will you recommend? So it will depend upon what you're looking for. When I saw your small cases, all are momentum with only difference being the universe. What if the user does not know which universe offers better risk adjusted returns? in most times. So all the data is there available on the small case platform. You can go compare if you like, or you can set up a call with our team and they will discuss all the products with you. Of course, we cannot advise you on what you should do, but of course, on product uh, performance and detail basis, we will offer you all the details that you need for you to make a sound decision. Vivek says it's been said that just index management is going on without underlying stock movements. If this is the case, how does momentum based strategy work in this scenario? So momentum strategies don't work in sideways market. They will chop around a little bit, and once they find trends, that they will come back up very very strongly. And actually, whenever markets are dull and sideways, nothing works at that time. So momentum investing also does not work at that time. How does momentum deal with index biannual shuffle during scenarios where index stays flat for the past 12 months? Again, the same way, as and when the biannual shuffle happens, we will move out of stocks that have been moved out, and we will move into stocks that have come into the indices. And that whether index stays flat or not has nothing to do with it. I mean, we have to stay with the universe of stocks that is underlying the strategy. Gopal Krishna says, I'm a subscriber of NNF10, which is balanced every first working day of the month. My question is, why wait for the first working day? Can't we do whenever you find the opportunity? That is doing once in a month, but whenever an opportunity arises, rather wait for first working day when we may have lost the opportunity moment. Fair enough point, but you see, everything needs to have a rule. Otherwise, let's say I find an opportunity every day. Will you be willing to churn out your portfolio every day? Let's say I find an opportunity every hour. Will we start doing an hourly churn on that? So there is a design to that strategy, and it is designed for those folks uh, who are happy to spend 2 minutes a month and go with this larger cap portfolio. Now, if you make it very active, there is likely to be subjective and discretionary decisions taken. So we don't want to do that at all. We have all products. Our entire franchise is based on non-discretionary. So we do not take any decisions out of what we think is right. We follow the rules, we follow the strategies, we follow our algorithm, and whatever happens, happens. So that's sort of the approach that we have towards this. Yes, monthly rebalance can be late at times, but many times it will also help you in sticking to your uh, stocks and making them gain during that period. So there is a give and take for everything. I'm not saying this is the best possible uh, frequency, but again, I mean, if you think monthlies are too long, there are many weekly strategies also which can be taken up. So all previous episodes of the Ask Weekend Investing Round are here in the description in case you wish to go through them. We have a full 64 number of half an hour videos for you to binge watch anytime you feel like. And if you have any questions left, which we may not have been able to answer today, please do write to us. Thank you so much for watching. Do like and share these videos and do subscribe to our channel. Thanks. Bye.